Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're diving into one of the most talked about topics in the gaming world right now. The very real possibility of a new Nintendo Direct happening in late July 2025. It hasn't been officially announced yet, but at this point, the writing's on the wall. Between credible leaks, Nintendo's own patterns, and some strategic calendar timing, it's not a matter of if, but when. The conversation really picked up after Donkey Kong Bananza launched on July 17th. That's important because Nintendo typically doesn't like to overshadow its major releases with other announcements. Now that DK's out, the calendar suddenly looks wide open, and that's where this rumored Direct slots in perfectly. One of the most trusted voices in the Nintendo space, Nate the Hate, has said a Direct is coming in July, specifically after Donkey Kong's release. He's gotten plenty right before, so when he says something's coming, people tend to listen. On top of that, Kit Ellis, who used to work in Nintendo's marketing division, commented that the timing makes perfect sense, especially because Nintendo has a major earnings report coming up on August 1st. And that's key. Nintendo often uses Directs to build momentum leading into financial disclosures. If they want to impress investors, they need to show what's coming next, especially for the Switch's successor. So the smart money is on the Direct airing sometime between July 28th and 31. That gives enough distance from the Donkey Kong launch and lands just ahead of their financials. Historically, that's a sweet spot for announcements. It's also exactly the kind of time window they've used in previous years when unveiling fall and winter lineups. So the timing checks out. Now let's talk content. What exactly would Nintendo show? First up, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. After years in development limbo, it was officially re-revealed in a previous Direct with a cinematic teaser and a new title. But fans are still waiting on the most important part, gameplay. We've got no release date, no systems confirmed, and no real sense of how it plays. A Direct would be the natural place to show all of that. And to answer the bigger question of whether this is a current-gen or next-gen title, or maybe both. Then there's Kirby Air Riders, which has been heavily rumored as a Switch 2 launch window title. Think of it as a hybrid racer platformer built around speed and terrain physics. It's supposedly a way to show off the Switch 2's more advanced movement engine and frame stability. That makes it a perfect complement to a heavier title like Metroid. If Nintendo is serious about showing range on their next system, something fast and colorful like a Kirby racer fits the bill. Another game we're very likely to see more of is Hyrule Warriors: Age of Imprisonment. This one's already been confirmed, but here's the important clarification. It's not a sequel to Tears of the Kingdom, even though it might look like it at first glance. Instead, it's a prequel set long before Breath of the Wild, during the era known as the Imprisoning War. That means we're diving into Zelda lore at a much earlier point in the timeline, probably following the rise of Ganondorf and the original sealing of the Demon King. If you're into the mythology side of Zelda, this could be huge. Let's shift to third-party content, because a lot of what makes or breaks a Direct comes down to surprises, especially when it comes to big publishers getting involved. There are growing rumors that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth could be coming to Switch 2. That may sound wild, given how demanding the game is. But if the new hardware is strong enough, it's not impossible. Square Enix has done multi-platform launches in the past and hinted at ongoing support for future Nintendo systems. And then there's Red Dead Redemption 2. This one's been circling the rumor mill for a while. And while there's no hard confirmation, multiple industry insiders have said Rockstar is exploring new platforms for the game. Whether it's a cloud-based version or a native next-gen port, this is exactly the kind of title that would send a strong signal that the Switch 2 means business when it comes to third-party support. Now, while we're talking about what might show up in this rumored Direct, let's take a moment to be clear about what won't. Specifically, Pokémon news. That's because we already know there's a Pokémon Presents event happening on July 22. That's its own thing, likely focused on Pokémon Legends, ZA, and possibly some updates to Scarlet and Violet or Pokémon Go. Nintendo tends to separate Pokémon news from their general Directs, so don't expect much crossover. Of course, there's always room for curveballs. Nintendo is famous for dropping one completely unexpected announcement in most Directs. Whether it's a long-dormant franchise returning, a strange spin-off, or a major indie surprise, There's usually at least one thing nobody saw coming. So, to recap, the window for July Direct looks very real, likely the last few days of the month. It follows the Donkey Kong launch and lines up with the Pokemon Presents. It lands just before the August 1 earnings call, perfect for making a splash. The content lineup could include Metroid Prime 4, Kirby Air Riders, Hyrule Warriors, Age of Imprisonment, and possibly some huge third-party ports. Hardware may be teased, but probably won't take center stage just yet. If you're a Nintendo fan, or just keeping tabs on what's next for gaming in general, this is a moment to pay attention to. This Direct could very well set the tone for the next generation of Nintendo's lineup. Let me know what you're hoping to see. Are you waiting for a Metroid release date? A new Mario? Drop it in the comments. And if Nintendo does announce the Direct, I'll be back with full coverage. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.